welcome everybody here to the school board meeting tonight. If you'd like to stand, we're going to have Trustee Claridge offer a prayer, and then we're going to have Italy lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand?
Our dear Father in heaven, we're grateful that we could meet here today and to discuss the needs of this district. Please bless us with thy spirit to help lead us and guide us in how best to assist the educational purposes of the children of our community. We're grateful for all that we have, and we say these things humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
And we could put another chair out there. I can put this one out there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Here's another chair. Somebody would like to come in and sit. You have to put it
Excuse us for just.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, is it not gonna? We've got this. We've got this one on. Oh, do we need to move up? Maybe we need to move up. You might need to move up. Hey guys.
Or we just don't care
Okay.
if people online can hear us.
Apologize for that. Thanks for bearing with us.
We might need to move up because we're not connecting.
Yeah, Mike's not connecting.
Oh, is Cameron around? Okay, well, we'll just share this one.
No.
No, there's only one that's
Not
green.
wanting to connect.
Do we need to move closer to you?
Yeah, it's because we got people in the way.
Oh,
Out.
here's one.
They've got one that works, Cam.
Okay, I think
Got
we're
two
okay.
now.
Okay. Okay. First item is agenda approval, and tonight we do need to have a motion to amend the agenda to include student discipline, and we will move that to the business section as number 9L, and also if we could move the naming of the sports complex from 8F to let's make maybe right after the consent agenda, right before the student representative reports. We could call that
to item 5 then.
yeah.
Pardon me.
Would somebody be willing to make that motion?
I'll make that motion as you just read.
Stated.
As stated.
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Claridge. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Trustee Kent. All those in favor?
I
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Were there any questions on the consent agenda? Okay, well, with that, the consent agenda passes with unanimous consent. Okay, that takes us to the naming of the sports complex, the discussion. Cameron, do you have
yeah.
we got a video that was provided to the board that we'd like to play at this time.
Can everybody see this? Okay. Can everybody see it?
We have the TV volume so everyone will have to be quiet. No yapping.
Can you control the volume?
It's all
Okay.
Hi, my name is Alex Moon. I graduated from Minidoka in 2009. The first year that Greer Cobble was coaching me was when I was 12 years old, and I was part of the traveling all-star baseball team. And I had him again as the Babe Ruth coach, and then had him again as JV coach, and then kind of all the special trips he helped us out in varsity. It seemed like throughout my entire baseball career growing up, he was always a big part of that. He was a great influence and a great example for me throughout all those years. One of the best examples, how much he cared for every person that he coached. He showed that through all of the little things he would do to help out. One of the best examples that I had about how much he cared about his players, even the simplest things, was my entire senior year. I had this, I want to say this ritual of I always wanted a Mountain Dew before every game that I had to pitch. And it came all the way down into the state tournament I had to pitch, and I did not have a Mountain Dew or any kind of caffeine for myself at that point. But he, without even thinking about it, says, "Hey, I have my Diet Coke. You drink my Diet Coke all game. I'll make sure it's filled up for you all game." And it's those little things like that that show he always cared about his players and everywhere that he could. So I think there was no better example that I could have had as a coach growing up in Greer Copeland.
Hello, my name is Whitney Bell, formerly known as Whitney Martin, and I wanted to do this without reading from a script, but I kept going way over, and so I thought if I was able to read from my own script, then I could stay on target and keep this concise. I cannot say enough awesome things about Greer Copeland. I first met Greer when I was about 11 years old, trying out for my first competitive sports team, the Rupert U12 All-Stars. I have the proof of that right here with my nearly 30-year-old hat. If I could describe Greer in 2 words from the perspective of an 11-year-old girl, it would be terrifying and inspiring. He has the incredible talent as a coach to make you feel like you both want to improve for yourself, your teammates, but also for him. I've had many coaches over the years of my long athletic career that included a full ride scholarship to play basketball in college. And I put Greer on the top, if not the top, of the list of one of the best coaches I've ever had. I can still see his face when I missed a ground ball or struck out watching a perfect ball go right down the middle. It was a smile that both said, "What were you thinking? Do better next time. And I'm still proud of you." That is talent. He was a pivotal He was pivotal in laying the foundation for my love of all sports and instilling a work ethic that carried me through my athletic career and into the current career as an orthopedic physician assistant. Greer was only my coach for 2 years of my life, but the Copeland family has really been a positive impact in nearly every aspect of my life. Greer served on the school board with my dad, Randy Martin, and Kay has cut his hair for the last 20 years. And I competed against the Copeland siblings in 4-H. And Kay also did my hair for nearly every competition. And I knew without a doubt that I would see them in the stands of every game I ever competed in because they truly loved Minico sports and have been diehard fans with and without their own kids competing. I don't think you could find a single other person in the Minidoka community that does not have similar experiences to mine and feel like Greer and the Copeland family is just an extension of my own. Greer Copeland is the type of legacy that Minico baseball field should not only be named after, but is exactly the kind of person Minico would be lucky to be affiliated with for a very, very long time. Thank you.
Hi, I am Chris Joyce. It is hard for me to put into words the meaning that Greer Copeland has to me and my family. The time and energy that he put in as a coach to me growing up is more than I could ever imagine. As I have gotten into coaching myself and seen the other side of that, I know that Greer has put in way more than what is expected of anybody. When I think of Greer and what he's done for me, most of it is off the field and unrelated to baseball. He has done so much for me and my family that I can't comprehend and express the love that I have for him and the meaning it would be to have a man like him immortalized and recognized for all those efforts that he's put in for the many years that he's been a part of Minico baseball and the athletics there.
Hi guys, I'm just sending a message on behalf of a great booster to Minico High School, Greer Copeland. Chris wanted me to speak on his behalf of naming the athletic facility after Greer. I can't think of anybody who had a more influential impact on our program, from the electrical in the concession stands, the press box, installing the lights, the scoreboard. We would not have got anything done without the help of Greer. And I think probably the most important thing is that he continued to help develop the JV fields, the softball field, the practice facility. When I think of Greer, I think of longevity. So probably isn't anybody in that area that has a bigger impact on the athletic department.
What's that? Sure. Go ahead.
Mr. Copeland, Mr. Greer Copeland, I'm sorry I lied to you under false pretenses for today.
You really should.
But I had to get you here. And I have to say, anybody that's had him as a coach for one of their children, which I have, let me tell you, there's nobody better. Not just as a coach, but as a friend. He has helped my youngest boy in so many ways. Even though at state, the very last game, my son, they took second, and my son threw his medal. Greer Copeland picked it up. He says someday he'll want that because my son blamed himself for the last pitch. and they lost the game. But Greer, you so deserve this. Thank you.
Okay. At this time, Mr. Tranquil, would you like to come up and say a few words?
Brought a baseball coach with us, too.
Yeah. Please.
Jared's been here a lot longer than I have. I when Mr. Larson called me and talked to me, we discussed this. I said there's a policy on, we name buildings after people, and I go, so they donate a lot of money or they're dead, right? It's kind of like Pete Rose going to the Hall of Fame. We're gonna wait till he's gone, right? And I said, but I don't agree with that because if you name something that's there, it adds new life to the area that it's in, and there's no question that it's definitely well deserved. And that area out there is used year round. It's got a beautiful new building. Obviously, we're starting softball out there, JV baseball, and it's got a lot of area and tennis and everything else. And let's give it some love. And honestly, the board, when they discussed it, and Mr. Larson and I discussed it, it was this man right here that I knew how much you've done. I didn't know how much you've done, if that makes sense to you. And so I wanted to bring Jared here and let him speak a little bit too.
So this won't be easy, but Greer has been a second dad to me, and I got to play for Greer. I got to coach with Greer, and when I had the idea of putting together a baseball hitting facility out at the high school, that's a big brown building out there, to the east of the English building, I called Greer, and I said, Greer, this is my plan. And a lot of people said, you're an idiot. That'll never happen. And Greer said, let's do it. And Greer, we'd take days off work, and we'd go and meet with all the business around town. And then when we raised enough money, we came to the school board and said, we have this much money, and they were shocked, I think. And then after practice, me and Greer would go to the building, and we'd hang the walls, and we'd hang the nets, and we'd put the stuff out, and he was there 100% of the way, and he's been there. We have his name up on the fence of the field, but Greer has impacted so many people in this area, me and my family included, and I'm grateful for you.
Thank you, Jared. I got to tell you though, nothing gets done without Coach, and he's a pusher, and he's the greatest example I know of too. I was just grateful that I could coach so many kids. I mean, I was out there 21 years, but it's on the school board. You've seen that, and I know we have a policy in effect. I don't know whether you took care of that policy. Yeah, we made that policy. I made that policy. We should have to be dead first. So I know some of the players wanted me to be dead.
You cheated that too many times.
That's true. So I just appreciate, Minidoka. I mean, the schools were important. I can remember Russ, and Clissa's going to hate me for this, but I can remember Russ and Clissa in a spelling bee in the 5th grade. And Clissa missed the stupidest word. And Russ was like, just like he is.
I missed a word too.
Russ turned out to win the spelling bee. Like, it was just so great.
I didn't win. I got like 3rd place.
Anyway, one of the things that I get to watch, and I had a great opportunity to teach a lot of kids, not only baseball, just about life. And I think that's the most important thing, is about being really good citizens in your community and giving back. And here's one of them that, is giving back, and he's gave back. And we're just grateful. I'm grateful to have, Jared and the other coaches out there that continue to build a program, build kids, build what we should bring back to our community, and that's what makes it great. I mean, it makes it great, and I've seen a lot of them come through. I mean, you know, and I'm having a really struggle because ones that, you know, I managed the power company for 40 years, and the ones that worked for me and with me, I mean, we were a team, and so if you look at schools, teachers, I mean, everything, school board, we're a team, and we can't get it done without a team. And the ones that Randy, you know, he's the general manager now. The one that really helped me a lot, he was my right-hand man. He'd do anything I wanted. Passed away this morning. Some complications in surgery. And I worked with him for 25 years. And he was instrumental in the baseball. I mean, wiring, you know, putting up the lights. We had Bonneville Power come in. I can tell you, Russ, Coach Wright, when he was here, he's in the Hall of Fame now. I coached with him for about 9 years. And if I knew a better coach, I mean, sorry, Jared, but
I play for Russ.
he was spitting on you one time. I can remember we had a kid that, sorry to take a little bit of time, but we had a kid come up to play. We were in a tight game, and he was just a mouthy kid from Pocatello. And if you know Pocatello, okay, Jared Morris says, "Can I hit him?" He's a great catcher, the greatest catcher there. Okay, and Russ said, "No, pitch to him." And we turned around like this, and all we hear is boom. We had a kid that threw a little over 83, 84, and hit him right square in the back. And he dropped. The kid dropped and just started crying. And while he's crying on the ground, he pulls Jared in the dugout and just starts spitting coffee grounds on him. I mean, it's like that close. And I thought, you know, that's exactly what I would have done. But, you know, it turned out we won the game 2-1, I think it was. And won the district. But anyway, that's the kind of coaching that really, I mean, more, you know, I got out of coaching, 5 years ago, just for the fact that I'm old school. And, you know, Whitney said it, you know, inspiring, but I was terrifying too, I think. Some of those girls, so, and some of the boys too. But, you know, I had a great time. I've had complications health-wise and, you know, lived through those and came back to coach after I had some heart surgery. And that was fun. It was a lot of fun. And so thank you for this. I don't deserve it. You know, it's a team and I don't deserve this. Same as the name, you know, the sign. I don't deserve any of that neither. I didn't do it for any accolades or anything like that. I did it because I love the programs. I can remember we put up the lights in the gym. You know, I helped put up the LED lights for the basketball. I just love the community, and I think that all of us are in the same boat. That's why we're here, is we want to see the community grow and the students grow and excel in what we teach them. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
You shouldn't have.
Is there any further discussion from the board?
I mean, like I said, when this came down the pike, I know I wasn't surprised. I mean, it's you know, and I didn't play baseball growing up, but it was just, I mean, half the time I think I remember seeing Greer Copeland who was in a baseball uniform somewhere. So it is well deserved, even though he says it's not.
Right. Well, and I think the fact that you weren't expecting something like this is why you're so deserving of it. So, I think it goes without saying that everybody really appreciates all the efforts that you've put in.
Thank you.
Anything else? Is there a way we can vote on this now? Can we postpone some items and then? I've been board chair for like a month, so bear with me. Do we need Do we need a motion to do that?
It's already on your agenda as an action item, so
Okay.
you just take it.
Okay. All right. Well, I would entertain a motion to approve the naming of the Greer Copeland Athletic Complex.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion by Trustee Anderson.
I'll second that.
Second by Trustee Claridge. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Yeah. Now you guys don't have to stick around for the rest of the board meeting. Thank you.
The good news is you'll be able to see who your friends are.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, let's get back to our student representative reports. Ms. Jansen, would you like to go? Okay, for Minico?
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Get real close.
Yeah, probably.
That's right.
We do have a lot, so be prepared.
Awesome.
We had our bed Halverson, which was huge, which is always amazing. The restaurants are great. We had our FAFSA assembly, which was also a great turnout. We had our entire auditorium filled, and the people who came and talked to us were also really amazing. Girls basketball has won districts back to back, so good job for them. We did have students qualify for the Music All-State Gala, which was also very awesome. Our National School Counselor, we had our National School Counselor Week, and they're amazing people, so they definitely deserve that. Girls basketball went to state, so they also did a great job there. We've had our Hope Week and our Valentine's Day, so hope you all had a wonderful Valentine's Day. We've sent cheer, dance, and wrestling to state all on the same day. So last Thursday they all went, which is wonderful. Wrestling is going to the championship, so they're doing amazing. Spencer Pease, Preston Cranny, and Garrett Vale were individual champions, so they're also amazing. And then we had 13 people who placed for state. So yeah, so doing great. Spring started Friday the 23rd. Hopefully it stopped snowing, right? So tired of that. Boys basketball upset Canyon Ridge, and they won. So that was amazing for them too. They went back to back. Our senior sports. Oh, we did. We had our senior sports assembly, which was great. So we walked them up. They had their parents or escorts, and they have been doing such a great job. We've had our higher ed days for juniors, and we did have our winter sports assembly not too long ago. We are doing our senior project assembly, I think, this week. Parent-teacher conferences are coming up, and we're doing a parent-teacher conference gratitude day for them. So us student body members are going to come in and make them waffles. Hopefully they like waffles. So spring break is coming up, thank goodness. And then when we come back, the countdown begins. So exciting. Thank you.
Awesome.
That's all. Any questions?
Lot going on in Minico the last couple of weeks for sure. So, a lot of good things. Thank you. Okay, is there anybody here from Mount Harrison?
Hi.
Awesome.
Hi.
And what's your name?
My name's Linda.
Linda?
I just joined student council this week.
Awesome.
Or not this week, this year.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks for coming.
Of course. What's been happening? We've done student council week, school counseling week. Our counselor, secretary, and our janitors had hit over 150 plastic ducks around the school to get rewards. I believe there's still some hidden that haven't been collected yet. They refuse to give hints on where they are. We got information. Our counselor had actually gave us information of what healthy relationships are over the announcements and what's not a healthy relationship, what signs could be a bad relationship. So they were really helpful. What we are planning for the upcoming weeks are we're having Hope Week soon, which is going to be on the 18th of March through the 21st of March. And then we're having Spring Fling Week by Student Council. We're planning on having a dance with games, and we're having a dress-up day with Pajama Day, Sports Day, and Wild West Day. Yep. And we had School Choice Week. We won that for a lot. How many kids have chose to attend Mount Harrison? We got that, so that was cool. We got free yellow scarves, which was pretty cool. And then we had Care Package, Operation Care Package, where we sent care packages to Iraq. She actually wrote down on what they got 3 boxes full of items to send.
That's awesome.
And they are currently in California as we speak, being sent. What's coming up? We have ISAC coming up on March 14th. Quarter 3 and Student Showcase is coming close and coming to an end. Our Student Showcase is on March 14th from 5 to 6 o'clock. And quarter 3 graduates we have I think 7, 8 students graduating around there. One of them's my brother actually. Yay me. Quarter 4 starts March 18th, and March 14th we have a school-wide trip to ISU for Tech Expo.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it. That's all we got.
Well, thank you for coming.
Of course.
We appreciate that.
Okay. On to good news with Paul Elementary. Are you ready, Miss Austin?
I think so. Can I airplay?
Yeah.
So my report's really short, which is good after the long presentation we just had. But I'd like to go ahead and start out with, this is our second year with our Newcomer Center, and we really enjoy having them in our building. They are the students around the district from all the elementaries that come to our school. Right now we have about 54. They come in their first year or the second year that they've been to our country. So, and they're a transient population, which means they come and go. But they are about 1/10 of our population, and so we've really enjoyed actually having them in our building. Our goal for them is language acquisition and culture, because they do come from all different kinds of countries, and so they have no idea what it's like to, like celebrate Valentine's Day and things like that. And so I think our students have really embraced them, and our teachers have learned a lot to try and be able to help them, but we're really thankful that they're in our school. So we really enjoy that population of kids that come. So the next thing we have is our teacher retreat. So over the summertime, we had quite a few teachers go to professional development, and they came back with a bunch of different ideas for helping. It could be trauma, it could be all different kinds of things. But one teacher came back specifically wanting to help our teachers have a retreat place during the day, because things happen to our adult population as well, whether you get a phone call that wasn't great or something, and you don't necessarily want to leave, but you need to get away from your classroom. So we have what's called a plan B. Every single teacher has a plan B, and for whatever reason, they can tell another teacher that they have a plan B, and the students know exactly where to go, and then they can, if they need to, come to this room. She set it up to try and be calm, peaceful, quiet. There's a little tissue box in there. There's also a book with like some outside resources if people need that also. And in fact, it's in the farthest little corner in a closet back in the very back. It's kind of embarrassing in terms of like if I were to show you where it was, but the staff all recognize the fact that if they went in there, they would be alone. It's not like people really would see them coming and going, because that was something that one of the staff members said. They had some sort of a thing that happened in their life, and when they went to the restroom, they came out like, you know, not looking all great, and people were there because the restrooms are all accessible and people are there around the same time. So she adopted this particular place. She put curtains all around it. She put a little mirror there in case you need to touch yourself up before you go or that. And we've had a few people go in there. They haven't really reported much to me about it, but I do know that a few have felt grateful that they had that sanctuary or that retreat to go to. So I felt like that was a really good thing that the staff started on their own. We have, like, sorry people, but we have the best PTO at our school. I'm just saying, it just is. So we had a readathon, and this year I just really thought it was a great idea. They had a different type of form of rewards, and so this time they did experiences. So the students, the top sellers, could pick what they want. One of the items was a staycation, so they had a one-night stay at the Holiday Inn and dinner from Doc's Pizza. Another one chose to be principal of the day, which was ironic because her daughter was a former student of mine, and so she was principal of the day. She loved it. I made her a little name tag, gave her all kinds of little assignments, bulletin boards. She got to go visit classrooms. She made suggestions. She had a great day, I think. We had an outdoor projector, so somebody could have an outdoor projector. It had the screen, and like I think they had some like snack items to go with a video. We had 2 students get to ride to school in a fire truck. So the fire truck went to their house that morning, picked them up, drove them to school. They got to have donuts and hot chocolate, and so they loved it. It was awesome. Another one was a movie premiere. You could take 20 of your friends to Century Stadium 5 for your own private movie showing. So they had some really cool items, I think. So the class really enjoyed it. This year, our behavior special education teacher, Mrs. Lee, won a grant for $1,865 for sensory needs and regulation tools for her classroom. So that we were very proud of her for that. This is our motley crew. Yeah, they're all minions, and I am Gru. Yeah. They came up with the idea and didn't think I would do it, so they were pretty excited to see I did follow through. But
you look so. You should just post a picture of you as Gru.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a pretty funny picture, but you can tell there's quite a few people in our staff, so pretty fun. So Hero Among Us, I had the opportunity, and a couple of board members. Was Mary, were you there? Was it Mary and Juan at the award ceremony? Was it?
Yes.
Okay, so yes. So Sheriff Pinther gave one of our students an award because what happened, there was a bus accident. And in the bus accident, he, like, I guess they could watch him in the cameras. He held it together. And he is, I wouldn't say he's like a likely candidate that you would think had his, mindset to where he would know what to do, the steps, but he was the one that called 911. He was the one that had them on the phone. They were asking him questions like, could you tell us who was on the outside of the vehicle? Could you tell, that kind of stuff. He just held his cool. Then he went from student to student. Are you okay? Calming them down. I mean, there was a lot to this story, but we are very proud we do have a hero among us. And so I haven't yet, but we are planning on having, because the student body doesn't know this yet, really, so we're going to have a special also presentation for him along with something else in that day. So we're really excited that Merrick Torx is part of our student body. We are starting our March Madness 3-on-3 basketball tournaments for 4th and 5th grade, girls and boys, and you can watch that on our Facebook Live every morning. And of course, the all-important carnival time. It's our 50th birthday this year, so it's been going on for 50 years. we have some really cool raffle top seller prizes. They're not doing the experiences for this. They're doing, the actual physical types of prizes that the kids really want. But what I really think is kind of cool is if you're interested in raffle prizes yourself, our top sellers are from Castellanos Auto Repair. Mr. Larson, listen closely to these because you might want these. There's a $400 fuel card. Hans Hardware, Shop Vac, Days Welding, Kayak, D11's $250 gift card, which could be for your fuel. High Output Construction Gravel, Klepfer Gravel, Magic Valley Tire, $500 towards tires. Mr. Larson, you probably need some tires. Swenson's Market is two $100 gift cards. Zipper Gas, $250 gift card. You need fuel.
Yeah, I do need fuel.
And Legend Concrete and Construction, Yeti gift basket value $500. So, yeah, and I mean, there's so many things that at the time of the year I can do, but I just want to make sure that Mr. Larson has an opportunity to win. So I have raffle tickets, and Mr. Perez isn't here right now, but honestly, we have 2 board members with students on that. Let me see if I can find on there, and so please make sure that you reach out and fill these out and give them back to Mr. Sukan or Mr. Perez because he will be glad to get them back. Y'all need fuel cards.
Well, thank you.
So they are in packs of 100, so $25 a bundle. Put your name, phone number on them. Okay, so really that's all the good news I have because my 2 minutes, I'm sure, is up. Do you have any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
That's awesome.
Well, I can tell you, the night of Carnival, that is the place to be in Paul, Idaho.
That is the place where everyone is in Paul,
That's
Idaho.
Yes.
We do have there's years that we have 1,000 people in that little building. It's crazy.
I would believe it. That school is shoulder to shoulder. It's awesome.
So thank you for having another child so that we can use your wife for the. Gotta keep them coming. Still married, you're a little behind. You got something coming up the way, or
But I can help.
yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
But,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you very much.
Very much.
Thank you.
All right, Mrs. Milliron. We're talking about STEM.
Okay, this is our West Minico STEM after school program. It's a program that we do after school hours, and these guys have been very committed. The organization that we chose to work with this year is Samsung Solve for Tomorrow. There were 2 main parts to this. We had to select a problem in our community and then figure out a way that STEM could be used to solve the problem. So I will let them explain our project.
I'm Logan Day, and once we brainstormed some problems in our community, a couple of our ideas were the crashes on the highway from Burley to Twin, and we also brainstormed some agricultural problems, and we finally settled on the high suicide rate in the Minnetonka area, and we've all been impacted by suicide in some way, by a loved one or family member or friends. So we decided to make a box that dispenses hope notes. It's gonna be yellow, and it'll be like a paper towel dispenser. And it'll be around that big. So then you wave your hand, and then it'll dispense a note. The note will have a inspirational quote on it, and on the back, it will have suicide resources and community.
My name is Killian Dodd, and so far our success is we made it as a state finalist. It was 1 middle school and 4 high schools in Idaho. On January 30th, we found out that we were the state winner for the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow competition. We will receive $12,000 of prize package from Samsung, and we are currently working on phase 3 of the competition, where we have to make a video submission that is about 3 minutes long, and they assigned us a mentor to help us with like our project and our video. In the video, we hope to have Debbie Critchfield, the state superintendent, and a PAWS executive committee member talk about how our project impacts the community, and this is due on March 7th.
My name is Aurora Tucker, and if we make it to the top 10 in the nation, which is also phase 4, we have several options. Our video will be published on social media for a public voting period, which could qualify us for the community choice winner. Around week of April 29th, we will present the video and concept to a panel of judges for a 10-minute pitch. Location is to be determined. The 10 national finalists are guaranteed at least $50,000 prize package with the chance of $100,000 prize.
Impressive.
I do have a question. On the boxes, the dispensers, where are they going to go? Where are they going to be located? Have
Like
you decided that?
libraries or like schools.
Yeah, we plan to have them located around schools that they can go and wave their hand to get a hope note if like they're feeling down or something.
Okay. And how many do you plan on doing? Do you know?
We haven't really figured that out
Okay.
yet.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome.
I think that is fantastic.
Any other questions for them? Well, thank you very much for coming in and presenting to us. You all did a really good job. Thank you.
That is not my new view.
Okay, we're now at our patron comments section of the meeting, and we had a comment turned in from Miss Lund.
Hi.
Hi. Would you like to come up and
Sure.
speak with us?
Thank you for having me today. My name is Banji Lund. I'm a parent of a music student at Minidoka High School. I'm very, very thankful that our student representative represented all the all-state students, including music students, because that means very, very much. Because a lot of times you don't see the music students stood out. And we probably have some music students that you work really hard to support. So I know Minico has the best basketball, the best cheer, baseball, football. We're always in the news. Our principals at all the games, we get lots of support for sports. One thing though, when I'm trying to support my student in all of his all-state competitions, his practices, getting his instruments for plays, like this year it's the Beauty and the Beast play. Last time it was the Seussical play. There's no funding, and I've begged the principal, the office, the administration. I know the music state representative, and she's like, you're just gonna have to get parents together or go to board meetings, or else the board will never know the needs these students have in music. And my student, there's 5 choir students, so a lot of vocal training, but no pay. You don't have to pay for a physical instrument other than kind of the lessons and stuff you give. We had only 2 students attend All-State, which Debbie Critchfield, the state superintendent, attended, and I'm so thankful that she published that. I don't know if anybody's seen her video, and she said she cried the whole time. I attended and watched my son, and I think every single song I just bawled because I've never seen a performance so beautiful in my entire life, and I've been to many performances. They're just so beautifully practiced and a great opportunity for them, so thank you, Minico, for letting them 2 students attend. My student plays the oboe. There is no oboe at Minico. There is no funding for oboe at Minico, but he's played oboe the last 3 years because he's fortunate enough to have a parent to pay for that. He's also played the bassoon and has been the only bassoon player and oboe player in the history of Minico High School. Luckily, I didn't have to buy that very expensive bassoon because they had an old one sitting with dust in it in the band room from, someone said, like the 1950s. So I don't know where it came from, but I'm glad that he had the opportunity to play that in some of the Minico performances. Right now, this is where most of my concern comes from for opportunities for students. There's a Beauty and the Beast play right now, and he says it's the most beautiful thing, and I've heard pieces and parts, and I'm so very proud of all of them. And he's playing the English horn. There's about to not be an English horn if my son didn't have access to one, because Minico doesn't have an English horn. And so we begged everybody in the community. He plays for the Magic Philharmonic, he plays for CSI, he plays for the Wilson Theater Student Orchestra, and he also plays violin and a bunch of other things, clarinet too, and marching band. He's a senior in high school. And I was like, gosh, I would love to really buy that, finance it, whatever, but can you just see if there's any other way? And I asked the band and orchestra directors, like, is there any way, like, for the play, just buy an instrument, leave it at Minico for the future students who are going to get the opportunity to play that and continue to add all that quality to music? And they're like, no, we only get like $15,000 a year, and we have to split it. And some of the comments I got were, we don't get money for repairs, uniforms, curriculum, furniture, nothing. English horn is really far down the list of things we need. And I totally understood that because my son's not the only student. Yes, I know that. But also a lot of the funds are meant for instrument repairs, like from orchestra, some new music purchases, entrance fees for events, music stands, and like the events my son went to All-State. And only 2 students went, a brass player and then my son, a oboe player. No strings players got to go to All-State. But this other state that's related to the school, we do have a few more students. But if you look at the mental health, my son's a senior. He's applied to so many scholarships. He even applied to the J Foundation, and that has to do with suicide and the impact that it's had on your life. And he is the only person, my son, the only high school person I know that does not have suicide affect him. And many of his peers in orchestra and band also. And I would love to see maybe budget increases to support the musical players. The principal attend events like all the All-States, the plays, the Dutch oven cowboy dinners, all of that promoted. Not only for the students' mental health, but not everyone's athletic. My son he was a football player. He's a football player and a violin player and a wood instrument player. I don't know how he does it, but he does it all, and I'm very proud of him. But I would love to see opportunities for other students, and we're working on looking at every funding possible to help Minico have this for other students, because I'm afraid the music's going to get lost, because luckily we came from Utah and he had access to those things, and I wanted to continue that through his career here in Minico, and I don't want to see it lost for any other student. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Seems like we always run out of money at the end of the day. Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Maybe as we look at things in the next year, we can take a look at that. And it's hard when we have so many talented kids in our schools. We want to be able to do as much as we can for them, for sure. But thank you for coming. Okay, on to our discussion items. First item is the review of the approved 2024-2025 calendar. This calendar was actually approved last year with the 23-24 calendar. Was there anything on this?
No, just for review.
Okay.
The board, I know it already approved. But in case there were some things, there is something that going on with our legislators though, that House Bill 521, school facilities bill, but districts that are on a 4-day week could have some extra hoops to jump through, and they may have contract days set for staff and also student days. So depending on how that plays out, it could actually impact our calendar.
Yeah, I've been anxious to hear the rest of what that may entail for us. Did anyone else have any comments on the calendar? Questions? Okay. Next item is the resolution that was discussed last month a little bit. Was there any further discussion, questions, or anything that anybody had on that?
I know they revised it and changed it so it doesn't feel like it's an obligation. It's more of an acknowledgement of what it is, which I felt better about. Not feeling it to put any extra due burden on anyone.
Sure.
Well, I think a lot of our schools, they do something already.
They do. So just something that.
But yeah. Ellen, did you read through this? On the Constitution resolution?
Yeah.
Do you do something at Hall Elementary?
We do, but not like with the birthday thing. We haven't moved forward with that. But yeah, we do.
Oh, the anniversary.
With the anniversary.
Yeah, we
thing.
haven't. Yeah, worked on that.
And I know the high school said that they do. And Sigua?
I'm just sitting here trying to think of a dedicated something.
They probably have
the Constitution
SAT. Probably do that.
Yeah.
And
Our fifth graders, I know, go to
The flag day.
the flag day that they do up there. That's an all-day thing. Yeah.
They've already scheduled that for next year.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
Yeah, Ms. Vandenberg, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, could I wanted to resubmit this. Regrettably, I couldn't be here to the last school board meeting, and so I couldn't be here to address any questions or comments or concerns that went on at that time. So when I was out of town, or when I got back in town, I met with Mr. Larson, me and another parent did, and after that meeting, we decided it would clarify things and make things better for you and easier for you and everybody, administrators, teachers, if we went ahead and filled in the blank. And does everybody have a copy of that?
That's the updated version on board book.
I have a bunch here really quick, if it'd be quicker for me to just hand them to you. But it would just be the underlined part at the bottom. Do you have it? Yeah. It's the one Carrie sent it out to everybody.
It's the same one that's in your board.
Yeah. And we felt that this would individualize each school to be able to look at this and decide how they would want to individually as their school, what would be the best ways for their school to implement celebrating the 250th year of the semi-cinquentennial celebration that will be going on that year in our Minidoka community. And at this time, we have had a planning meeting, and there were several teachers that went to that meeting. The next planning meeting is going to be March 11th at 7 p.m. at the Cassia Courthouse. And so we just felt that, I know somebody mentioned, well, we could do this with 9/11, and we just really want to emphasize that no, this is the 250th semi-cinquentennial year of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And there's just lots of fun little activities we could think of throughout the year to do this, and that's what we would like to encourage. Is there any questions or anything like that I could help with?
Anybody have any questions for?
Okay,
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Any further discussion anybody has for that?
For me, I mean, except the way it was written, I think clear it up.
Okay. And the only point I guess I'd like to make is that I think this is very nicely written, and I think this is definitely an occasion that's really a milestone in the country, definitely worth celebrating, involving our, the schools and the kids. But I think it's just important to point out that we don't necessarily have to have a resolution to encourage, participation from people in the community, within our schools and within our district. And I guess I don't want people to feel like the burden of feeling like they need to have, present something to the board in order to take part in, the education of our kids. So I guess that's the only point I'd like to make, is that, we encourage, participation from our community, and it takes a village. So anyway, okay, with that, policy discussion, none this month. Administrator Department Committee reports. Did anybody have any questions or comments on those? Daryl, is there anything you'd like to present on the business report?
You'll get a whole heap from next month, just covering kind of that training that we had. But just in brief, we've received just about 88% of all the funding we're going to get from the state this year already. So it's just a matter of tying that out to what our expected revenues were and seeing how that ties to budgets and where we're at.
As long as we've got 90 or 95% of the bills. Right?
That's what we're hoping for. But so that's kind of where we're at. The only real other items we have is we were funded at a 209.25 support unit.
Say that number again.
209.25 is what we were funded at for.
And we were anticipating a 212, right?
We budgeted at 212. When we got it, we anticipated 206 or there, but 209 came out nicer.
Well,
next year, we're currently showing a support unit of 207, but because it's the staggering of years, we come in at a protected of 217 currently for next year. Is kind of what we're looking at. It's still got some protection in there, so we'll have to play with that. But a lot more will be coming out shortly. I didn't get to as much as I was hoping to last week, whereas day in day out of training. So
seemed like some big vouchers we looked at this month.
They had some big ones. There was that one back date there, but that was just to help reconcile everything. I think you guys already
1.8
touched in there.
Okay.
But on that, we're getting there.
On the backlog on that, the porta potties, is that a backlog that because we're still coming through?
If they're still coming through, they're coming in through the athletics and everything through Minidoka and everything. Those invoices don't even really touch us. They go on that end. So.
Because I know they were for January and February, and it's like.
If we still have them come through, I can make a note.
Why are we still having
check
porta
and see.
potties out there?
I can look into that one.
Anybody else have any questions for Daryl? And I apologize. I see I skipped over MCEA. Does MCA have anything to report this month? I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm still new at this part of the job.
February 10th, some of us went to Twin Falls and attended a dyslexia training that was fantastic. I think the biggest takeaway that I got personally from it was they said that 1 in 5 students in our classroom suffer from dyslexia. Blew my mind. But then one of the next statements was not dyslexic students can't learn the same way that those students that don't have dyslexia can learn. But all learners can learn the same way that dyslexic learners can learn. And I thought that was super powerful for me because I know, like, in reading and all this stuff, we went away from the phonemic awareness and phonetics and whole language, and everything goes full circle. But coming back to the roots of how I learned as a kid to read and how probably a lot of you learned how to read is super important. Learning the phonemic awareness and learning the phonetic sounds and things like that is very important for these dyslexic learners. And so I thought that was fantastic. And then we have delegate assembly coming up April 12th and 13th in Boise. We will be taking 8 delegates. We have a few alternates in case someone can't end up going. So that's what we've got right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Larson, would you like to give your report?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a ton on my report, but met with admin a couple weeks ago, really discussing transportation, as a continuation of the board meeting and the work session we had last month. No, I don't intend that we're going to, and we didn't solve things in one meeting, but at least get people thinking about it and what we can do to help with our transportation issue. Discuss summer school, and then we had our summer school meeting, and so that's a big one. But the summer school, it's going to be at Paul Elementary for the migrant summer school, and West Minico for the secondary, and then Minidoka Junior High will still have theirs here, but that'll start June 3rd. Wanted to get on that so we can arrange for transportation, have time to make up flyers, get information out to parents in case their students need to sign up for summer school. And a couple of other things, working on securing our futures phase 2. So we did get phase 1, $150,000 for a variety of projects around our facilities, and we're writing for phase 2, which will need to get submitted here very shortly. And I know I sent out a grant as well, more for the secondary 2 middle schools in Minico and Mount Harrison, but a vape grant for vape detectors. And so I know administrators were working on that, and it's due tomorrow, so I just need to review it, sign it, and get it sent off.
What are those costs?
I don't remember.
What does it?
Well, it's like, I can't remember, it was $800 or more, like $1,200 per detector. I mean, we had some in Gooding. Just a little caveat, they work really well at first until people realize what they are. Because then they just find other locations to do their vaping.
Can you put those in the bathroom?
Yeah. Yeah. We did, but then they'll do other things, with perfumes and things like that, spraying in them, trying to mask, whatever they can. But anyway, if we can get that, we really put them where we want, and hopefully, even if it just deters kids, then it's a win.
There's a question or comment?
Yes, I wish you could do something about it on the buses.
On the buses?
On the buses.
Can you put them on the buses?
I'd have to look into that, actually.
Because there's sometimes kids get on the bus with the perfume, and if you have one that's vaping, we can't catch them yet. But it does bother some of us who have allergies.
Sure. Yeah. Are they hardwired? Are they 110? Are they battery powered? Or?
I don't remember the specific ones that we're writing for, so when I review it tomorrow before I sign it, then I can let the board know.
I remember 4 years ago, well, Jeff Gibson was still on the board, so it's been a little bit. We were at an ISBA training, and we ran into that. Both of us did. And at that time, there was a training on vaping and what the different types of vape.
Oh yeah.
The different, how little they are in the pen, the head of the pen. They were showing us their drawstrings on the hoodies. Yeah, no, they're everywhere. And at that time, or not, like I said, I don't know. That time, the detectors were over $800. So I would imagine they're a little spendy. And they were battery operated. But yeah.
So I work for the public health department over there in Utah, and they banned the flavor vapes, and that impacted schools tremendously. It's like, what kid is going to Like what adult even?
Yeah.
I don't even understand vaping because it's worse than cigarette smoking. But
Yeah, didn't
I don't know what
vaping,
kind of.
when it came out, wasn't that supposed to be like the safer alternative?
Totally not. It's the only
yeah.
smoke that has third hand smoking, which is worse than second hand smoking.
Yeah.
And that is one of the reasons, though, that we have the Juul lawsuit that a lot of districts got in on because they were targeting really students with their marketing and different things. And, you know, we got some money from that, too.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Larson? Okay. Board members and committees. Usually this time of year we kind of go through and designate which board members want to serve on which committees or sit in on them anyway. Usually, I think that's fair. So, done. But which ones do we usually have board members sit in on? Policy review, negotiations.
Probably a facilities committee, and calendar committee.
Okay.
So policy, negotiation, calendar, and
negotiation facilities.
Facilities, yeah.
Um,
in the past, you can always add more.
I've sat in on policy ever since I've been on the board. It's a good time. We hang out with Carrie a lot. She knows policy really well, Mr. Larson. But if when I got on the board, they said, "Well, you're the new guy. You need to learn policy." There you go. So I don't know. I don't know if some of our newer members want to do some policy committee.
Next question on is when do they meet? Timing.
It has been the second
Once a
Tuesday.
month.
Yeah, once a month at around 4:00.
Okay.
But I know you work, so
At 5. That's just we're trying to figure out for
yeah,
time commitment.
yeah, and it's usually at least an hour.
Yeah, it's usually 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, depends on. Yeah.
So
is it just a volunteering thing, or is this a assignment?
Well, you get double pay.
Double pay.
Yeah.
If I volunteer, I get some.
Yeah.
No, it's at this point it's whatever board member expresses interest.
I would on the policy to help out.
Do you want to do policy?
Yeah.
It does 4:00 work with you? Okay.
I can make it
And
work.
if that's a struggle,
If we need to change the time.
Yeah, I can change. Yeah.
So, but for right now, we can see how it goes.
Okay,
with
so
work.
it's
My
good.
work's pretty good with. They'll just call me anyway.
Okay.
I mean, if that one doesn't work, we can put you on 3 of the other ones or something.
3 more.
But no, it is really good to sit in on that committee and
Veronica, that's PPAT.
I've definitely learned a lot more about our policies.
Did she ask you to be on that one? PPAT.
Is that what it is?
Well, it's Parent Patron Advisory.
Yeah, she asked me to be on that one.
It's not really a committee. It's just kind of a meeting.
Oh, it's a meeting.
It's not. It's not a committee. It's a meeting.
During the day.
Yeah.
During the day.
12:30. 12.
12:30.
Because she called me last week to see if I could come, and I couldn't go.
Okay.
I said, but if you want one of us there, Veronica.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just basically a meeting, but
They're trying to get a lot of people to it because not very many people are supporting that anymore.
it's hard to get to the meeting because it's a new.
And Sarah
And it goes till about 1:30ish.
Oh, in fact, it was Valentine's Day last time, and I was doing flowers. So that's up to you. If you want me to go to that, I will.
But if you want to, that's great. Sounds good to me.
What about facilities?
Facilities, anybody interested?
My realm of expertise, I suppose.
Okay.
Construction,
I'll take the golf committee too.
So we have PRC, facilities, calendar.
Is there usually a board member sitting on the calendar committee?
Was it the Ashton?
Yeah, I mean, that's really one of the responsibilities of the
Yes.
board.
When does calendar committee meet?
Whenever he says. This year it was different because we did 2 calendars.
Last year.
Yeah, we approved 2 calendars, last year's and this year's. Next
What
meeting.
do you think Juan would be interested in? Guess we gotta kind of pick for
You
him.
know what? He was only in on negotiations a little bit. Did he stay last year? He might be on negotiations again.
What about
Was he on
this?
this committee or he was just part of it?
He just wanted to be in on it because he hadn't been in on it yet. And
Because last year it was you and Bonnie,
Yeah,
wasn't
me and Bonnie, and then one did the second.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Everybody needs to be on negotiations. I've been in it there for a while. So. But we can always, somebody can't make it, we can always go in. I can do facility or calendar.
Okay.
Machine.
And then
That's
negotiations.
about me. I'd be willing to sit on negotiations this year if the board would like.
And one.
Then we could put Jay Juan would be interested. I guess he doesn't.
Because he doesn't have any.
Well, yeah, if he doesn't want it, or if he can't make it, then one of us can
Switch. Okay. So Russ and one negotiations. Okay.
Is that all?
He might be watching this. Anybody got their phone?
PRC, PAT, facilities, calendar, and negotiations.
All right. Okay, on to the business portion of the meeting or action items. Already named the sports complex. Okay, now we're to the resolution. Any further discussion on that, or anyone wanting to make a motion one way or the other?
I'll make a motion to approve or sign off on the resolution.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Kent.
So you probably want to know for your minutes that it's a Declaration of Independence, not the Constitution.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, we
sign.
need to change that on the.
Constitution was a few years later.
Yeah.
What is it
Can you
called?
reflect that in your
Resolution?
motion, maybe?
To motion to sign the resolution for the commemoration of the Declaration of Independence.
Okay. Okay, is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Trustee Claridge. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
So you will have to sign this then. Yes. You need to sign this.
Okay, the Minico freshman class fundraiser. Did everybody have a chance to look at that? Was there anybody here from Minico that wanted to speak on that, or from the freshman student council? Yeah. Okay.
I think they're trying to raise money for their class.
Right.
Graduation.
Their graduation and yeah.
Okay. Well, is there anybody that'd be willing to make a motion to approve the Minico freshman class fundraiser?
I'd make a motion to approve the Minico freshman class fundraiser.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Claridge. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, next item is the Minidoka Junior High fundraiser request. Mr. Jarvis, did you want to speak on that?
Sure. So we've got 2 different requests. One of them is for yearbooks. We did the yearbooks last year. It was awesome. The kids really liked having those. We haven't had those in the past. Mrs. Bruns ties them into the curriculum, so they spend a significant portion of the second semester their English writing and standards are through the yearbook, and they can do the pictures and everything. It's super cool. We want to do about $1,600 to cover about 50 books, and it's just going to be just kind of general fundraising options. So like walkathon sales, 3D print sales, hat day, uniform day, those kind of things. And then the other one I think is probably a little bit more important. it's to allow all of our students to go over to Jay's Place in Twin. If you're not familiar with Jay's Place, it's super cool. It's a suicide prevention program. It's expensive. It's like $200 a head to go. We weren't aware of it. We had a student last year this time come to us from West, and he was suffering pretty heavy depression and anxiety and suicidal ideations. His parents donated $6,500 to us to cover all of our kids at that time, which was 35 kids. We've up to almost 50 now, so we're looking for to be able to go and get $2,500 more dollars. But they really credit that program with saving their son's life. So we really want all of our students to get a chance to go through that. We have a significant number of students with those type of issues, and so we are looking to involve our kiddos with that, to take staff and kids to the square and local businesses and have them explain what it is and what we're going to go do, and be able to involve them in that. To get to about $2,500 more so everybody can go.
So what did they discuss? Is it different stations they go through? Is it?
So I'm not 100% sure how they build the boots. I haven't actually been, but you go and you do it, and it's an ongoing program. So they call it. They create boot check moments. So it's all about discussion and talking and making and getting those kind of things out. And so our student who went, their parents really credit that with what was able to help him deal with his issues and move past it, where he's not a big talker, and the ability to go and have repeated opportunities to talk to people who've had similar experiences and have no stake in it. Like teachers, our kids trust us, but like we also kind of have a stake in it. You know what I mean? Whereas these people, there's nothing. They don't know them. They're just there to help. So that's the bigger part about it, is they create the repeated opportunities to be able to talk and make sure that you get those things out. And whether it's suicide or depression or bullying or all those things, all that stuff can come out in those discussions. And so that's really, we're hoping to kind of help build that community and give our students another opportunity to deal with those kind of things.
So is this?
And you get a really cool pair of boots out of the deal, yeah.
Is this something that they'll go repetitively? They'll go multiple times, or is it a one-time go?
I believe we're going there once. We're just going to go, or everyone will go once. I'm not sure exactly how many people they can take at once. But then through the program, there's other ways that they can contact and stuff. We're not going to be going over there like every week for the rest of the year.
Well, it's pretty awesome that somebody donated that much money.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a pretty cool program. She's come in and talked to us about it a few times.
Is there a way that you could report on this after?
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that for sure. Yeah. And as soon as I think that we've talked to Jay's Place, and as soon as we've got the funds, once we've raised the funds that we need, then they're like ready to get us going and get over there. So I think we're aiming for after ISATs, because trying to squeeze it in the middle kind of sounds awful. But that's the plan for now, I think.
Okay. Any other questions?
Can I make a comment on the first fundraiser? Sure. So just a reminder that fundraisers held within the school, any food that is sold and to be consumed on school site or during the school hours needs to be Smart Snack. So we can't sell soda, we can't sell candy bars, can't sell cookies. It's part of our wellness policy. Whether or not that gets followed, it's kind of up to the building admin, but that's my 2 cents on it.
There's so many days.
There are 10 days, yep, but they're non-consecutive. So you can't have like 10, boom, boom, boom. They have to be 10. And that there's a tracking form for it that each school needs to track and gets submitted. Yeah, it's a lot of paperwork, but that's just my 2 cents on it.
Before and after school.
After school, 45 minutes after school, it doesn't count. If you're selling raw cookie dough to be consumed at home, it doesn't count. Still has to be tracked, but yeah. So like candy cane, grands, or whatever during Christmas that we go around and take to the schools, that's against our wellness policy. Okay.
we definitely worked for them in the last few years. Then.
It's one of the policies that gets looked over a lot.
What was that? Is there a workaround on that first fundraiser?
So anything can be smart snack.
Well, I mean, she's talking because I would think that this would apply to the one we just approved because it had the little Caesars sales that they were going to do in there listed as part of the fundraiser, right? That was the Minico, the freshman. Yeah, it has it.
That's like a double dinger because it can't compete with lunch.
It's another rule.
Oh, so we need to.
It can be before school, after school. But it's got that time frame.
We'll just leave a hose.
Sorry to just crush.
We'll just leave a hose outside. They can drink out of the hose. It'll be all right.
You know, that's hard on these kids for fundraising.
Right, but I will say, like the dodgeball fundraiser, that's great. I saw us selling water, that's great. All the activities and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the candy bars and the soda pop and all that stuff. So like popcorn, that would be a smart snack if we're not buttering it and salting it. But no one's gonna eat it. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Butter and salt for free.
So do we need to change that fundraiser for Minico then?
Apparently.
Apparently.
According to our student nutrition director.
I think you can just leave it up
You
to
can leave
the
it.
lead administrator to
Yeah,
follow your policy.
Okay.
because that's how it is. That we've already got plenty of those. It's just on the men to really
I will
yell
put
at
it in my
those.
notes though.
So every 3 years we have our audit, and that's one of the things that they check, and we get dinged on. It goes to all the schools, but my department's the one that gets to follow it. So
You get to answer for it all.
yeah, and they could potentially dock our funding on it. So that's the consequence.
So when they decide to plan fundraisers, do they get any advice about, I guess, planning for food? Are they aware before they plan these things?
It depends if they talk to
go out
the
there.
right people. Our bookkeepers do know this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But those that are in charge of the planning of the fundraiser.
I know that we check in as far as our fundraiser goes. We check in, and we've in the past when we do things like this, we ask, and the bookkeepers or nutrition will tell us like, that's not under the thing, and so we figure out a different thing.
So I'm guessing the big boys at West Minico was not under it.
My brain just does not go to that.
Don't they do that after school? Yeah, but they do that after school.
Yeah, they're not selling them in school.
Yeah, we do.
They're selling them.
Yeah, they're not 45 minutes after school.
I think we should have a pizza party and discuss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sell them all over. They may pick them up. Whether or not
It's
45
45
minutes.
minutes.
The issue is when you're selling
So the schools that have the chocolate bars in on their counter, they can't have that in there.
They can for the staff.
They can't. They
Yeah.
can't. They
You're
can't
like,
sell.
are you talking like your cheerleading fundraisers, like those ones selling the dollar chocolate bars? Technically, they're only allowed to sell before or after school. Does that happen? No.
Unless it's part of the 10, blah, blah, blah.
This motion to include
And they give them to the students.
Just can't sell.
Agreed.
Just kidding.
Do we need to have Trustee Camp amend this motion to say something along the lines of, as long as it falls within nutrition and
Our wellness
our
policy.
wellness policy?
If you leave it as is, it's going to be up to your building administrator to enforce the policy. If you guys want to ensure that they follow it, you can amend it to.
Well, we certainly don't want to jeopardize funding if we're audited.
We just went through an audit.
It is also, I think it's always implied that anything you guys pass, has to follow the guidelines of our own policy.
So you think
Did we get these?
it's redundant, so we don't need to.
That was my first.
I think
day
you just
here, so I
have, we don't have Minico here tonight, but you just have Mr. Larson take that back to him.
That they can review it. And
Because I don't know where they are under 10 days or any of that kind of stuff. So they might be able to still do some of the things they want to do.
Okay, so, line item D, the Minidoka Junior High fundraiser request are two separate items, so we probably better have two separate motions. Is there a motion to approve the Minidoka Junior High fundraiser request?
For yearbooks?
for the yearbooks.
I'll make the motion for the Minidoka Junior High fundraiser request of yearbooks.
Okay, there's a motion made by Ms. Anderson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Cant. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Okay, then on to line item E, the Mount Harrison High School fundraiser for the J Foundation. Is there anyone willing to make a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the Minidoka Junior High fundraiser request for the Jade Foundation.
Second.
Was that for Minidoka Junior High or for Mount Harrison?
It's for
Junior High.
They had
Mount
two.
Harrison.
No.
Minidoka Junior High. Yeah.
Got some other
There's two of them.
See, right here.
There's two fundraiser requests for
Oh.
Minidoka Junior High and one for Mount Harrison.
Alright, there was just one on my paper. Okay. Wait, who made it?
I did.
Okay, motion by Ms. Anderson.
No,
Is there-
Jake.
I made the motion, she seconded.
And I seconded it.
Oh, sorry, I'm waiting.
And we're in a board meeting. Just make sure you're paying attention.
He's tired too.
I know. I gotta give him a hard time.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, on to line item F.
Mount Harrison.
We did D.
We did D.
D comes after D.
There's two Ds.
We have a kind of, there's a Mount Harrison.
I think
High
your
School
paper, you need to go to your board book.
We did the new paper.
The paper's confusing you.
Okay.
We switched the policy.
Okay, for the second Mount
Harrison High School
fundraiser.
dodgeball tournament.
Yep.
Only one doesn't have a second. It only has one. The dodgeball.
It's just the dodgeball.
Mount Harrison High School. The other one was the junior high.
Okay, alright, sorry, I was confused.
Right there.
My paper only had one for the junior highs. Okay. Okay, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the dodgeball tournament fundraiser.
You want us to talk about it?
If you'd like to.
I
That
would
be great.
love to talk
I mean,
about
it
it.
sounded, it sounded amazing, so I thought. it's-
Ellen is not the only saleswoman in the room.
I don't know how bad I don't know how hard to get sell dodgeball. But.
I'm Sarah Pillai. I'm here to represent Mount Harrison High School. You all have an electronic copy of this, but we would love to share a paper one with you so that you can take it back to your places of business, share it with your family and friends. But we are essentially putting together our first annual dodgeball tournament. Oh, sorry, ladies, thank you. What this is an effort to help raise money for our school clubs. We have about 7 of them at our school. We don't have the luxury of a booster club, but we're super creative. And so we're stealing this idea. Excuse me, I'm an ethics teacher. We're admiring and acquiring this idea from a school district, starts with a P.
Pinedale.
Pinedale,
I think
Perry, Preston.
It was up north. It's north by Boise, not.
We're borrowing this from them, and it's a fabulous deal. So the idea is we're going to have a 16 bracket team tournament, and we're challenging people. So as the MCEA is sitting here tonight, I would like to open it up to you guys to challenge the Cassia County Education Association to play in this tournament. And here's what's at stake: $500. It is a 6-man team with at least 2 ladies on the team to kind of make it even, although I can throw a pretty mean ball. But it's $500 cash prize. So MCEA, if you guys could pull out a win, that could potentially be $500 for the children's fund, or however you choose to use it. It's just $100 right now. And we're going to have cool prizes like the most creative dodgeball t-shirts. We would love to see some competition within our district, maybe elementary school throwing out another play somewhere else, across the river, whatnot. PMT.
It's early.
Definitely. And again, it's $100 entry fee. We're going to be playing over at West Minico. I'm going to tell you, I'm not the PE person. I couldn't tell you a thing about dodgeball, but it's going to be a ton of fun. We have ideas to bring in food truck vendors to sell, and the discussion right now is still on the table, but we're thinking if we'll either do like a flat rate where they'll come in and they'll just pay to be on site to feed people that are there, or we might do some type of a percentage. But we're thinking this is going to be big and huge, and we'd love to see it continue year after year. We've got some trophies that have been played around with in terms of design, some really cool medals to kind of, because bragging rights, y'all, come on now. And really, truly, we're seeking the board's approval so that we can take this money and make some good purchases for our clubs at Mount Harrison.
What day is it?
It's going to be on May 18th.
Saturday.
No wellness policy.
I checked.
Well played.
Anything we want.
Any questions?
Can't wait for your outfit homecoming zone.
Any questions for
How does this work? Are you going to stagger times and have like 2 teams at a time, or how does that work?
Right. So my understanding is they're like 2-minute games, but I'm really not your person for that. David Rucky's our resident PE slash.
Maybe longer. I think they were talking maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's gonna be staggered for sure, but we'll have some double elimination because that's a lot of fun, right? You don't want to like sign up for $100 and then just be out right away. So we'll do double elimination to just kind of build it up, and it should be good fun.
So David Rucky has done and created one of these things in his past, one of his past lives, and so we're depending on him to help us recreate it in this life.
Perfect.
Did you have a question?
Well, I was just saying, I actually did dodgeball, brought it up with the city of Rupert. And what we did is we gave them a 10-minute, and however many games they could play and win in that 10 minutes, because they go pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
They go pretty fast.
Okay.
And I have small kids, and I have the small balls for the little ones and the regular size for the adults. And you'd be amazed at how many games you can get in that 10 minutes, and it was fun.
Now, I have a question for you now. Do you know if that equipment could be something that we could borrow in terms of like the balls and
I
stuff?
would think so. I can ask and let you know, or you could call and I can give you the number to call.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I remember playing dodgeball at Paul Elementary back in the day.
With the red rubber balls.
But those are dodgeballs.
Stung like no.
Yes. These are regular
Love
dodgeballs.
that.
They're the soft. They're the sponge. They're the soft. Yes.
Balls? Okay, that's not.
No, these aren't nerf balls. I know they still hurt. These are regular dodgeballs.
Okay.
But they're a
Well,
they.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the dodgeball fundraiser.
I'll make a motion to approve the dodgeball fundraiser.
Motion by trustee Claridge, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Kent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. Now, on to the food service vans. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
So,
School nutrition vans?
if you looked at my board report, I included the summer feeding survey at the very end, so that's why I had all the slides. But moving on to that model, and the rural non-congregate's here to stay. It's not just a 1-year trial thing. So we're going to be able to operate mobile summer sites, doing more mobile or micro sites. So I've increased our sites tenfold. We need transportation for those meals. Typically, we pay mileage for staff members to use their vehicles, but we're cramming coolers into little Honda Accords, so it's not the best thing. I want to buy these 2 vans. The one you see on the bottom there, the Goody blah 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 van. That's just a Chrysler Pacifica. So our funds have to be spent using or buying American-made products. Otherwise, we have to get other paperwork. There's not that many American-made vans right now, like hardly any. So That's why I was only able to attain 2 quotes, and according to policy, that's perfectly fine. So we'll use that van. I want to get it wrapped in look beautiful summer feeding, like it's going to be an icon. And then on the inside, I hope to have it like a little open the door and the kids come through like an actual kind of salad bar instance. And then the other van here, we have the Goody Transit quote. That's going to be the hybrid of a cargo van / minivan. They actually quit making this model, so again, it was really hard to attain quotes. 2023 is their last model, and Goody has a brand new one available. This is going to be replacing our current 2000s van that's got some issues, and it's going to be a little bit better for us, but we'll also use this for summer feeding to do the mobile sites. And I did get state, so I have to get state approval if I'm spending money over $5,000. I have approval for that, so I just need your guys' approval. We're unique in that we can make our own money. We're not dependent on all the things that Daryl's dependent on. The summer feeding, and I'm planning on doing breakfast and lunch together because we're able to do that. We'll get $8.95 for each meal served. That's huge. We weren't getting $5 last year. So we're going to be making a ton more money. We already have a fund balance that we're technically required to spend down. And part of that plan was to buy a new vehicle. And we're just adding on a new vehicle. So that will pay for itself.
If you wrap it with ice cream, you'll get a lot of kids running up there.
With the music and everything, yeah.
I didn't see the music yet.
So I did.
You sell that ice cream, but you're not. It's not during school.
No, we're just.
During summer.
I think West Mexico knows where you can get your fat boy.
I did get a quote to get it wrapped, and it's about $3,000, so not terrible.
Well, yeah, that comes out of totally different than our general funds.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, they had $200,000 still in their fund balance. So it's down from 6 down to 2, but she's still got quite a bit.
Well, yeah.
I'm special.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Yeah.
You make it look cool, they'll come.
Yeah.
Were you only able to find these 2 vans, or were you looking for a minivan and the other one?
I was looking for each one separately. So I wanted like a minivan, and then I wanted this Transit Connect, which it's unique. They don't make something other than that, other than a cargo van, which is higher up and it's got all the things. I went out like KSL, all the things. I found one at Minidoka and I found one at Goody, but I would rather support somebody local. We have the ability to do that as well. I can't remember a specific. Goody had both on those quotes lower prices, so we're going with price and locality. We're going with Goody.
And neither of these vans will have actual seats in them for carrying.
So the actual van will. They don't make them to where they pull out and it's a nice smooth floor anymore, but we can lay them down and have great mobility. Plus side of that, we don't have to borrow a van if we're hauling my staff members to training or anything like that. We pop the seats up, it's our van, away we go.
Okay. Would there be any insurance concerns with that? I know one of the law conferences we went to, the insurance person that spoke was very anti-van for transporting students.
Yeah.
But would we be okay if or how does that work if it's going to be transporting staff? Is there any issue there?
Shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
I came from
I care. I asked a question. Jeez.
The insurance is that's fine for transport.
He just wants to know in case he sees it, he can move it out.
Insurance doesn't necessarily love the 14 passenger vans.
Yeah, the ones they don't like, the larger vans.
Yeah.
But this is just another mini.
Yeah, it's just soccer ball.
Oh,
Okay. With that, is there a motion for the approval of the purchase of the 2 food service vans?
I'll make a motion for the approval of the purchase of 2 food service vans
From Goody
Motor.
Okay.
Do I have to do Burley? Just getting over.
Okay, there's a motion by trustee Anderson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Kent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Okay, item H. G. Approval of changes in the revised guest teacher handbook. Do you want us to speak to that, or?
Get it pulled up there.
I had to take out the testing, that we couldn't pay for.
Oh yeah, the study testing.
Yeah, so everything.
That's really, that's what it's reflecting in there.
Yeah.
What's steady testing?
STEDI, it's a 4 to 6 hour test that the subs had to take. It dealt with all sorts of things, but the license was over $2,000 or something like that for 50 licenses.
It's basically classroom management, how not to kill kids.
For a sub?
For our subs, guest teachers.
Okay.
For me.
Okay, did anybody have any questions for Mr. Larson on that?
Just the definition, so I'm good.
Okay. Okay, with that, I would accept a motion for the approval of the changes in the revised guest teacher handbook.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Claridge.
Second.
Second by trustee Anderson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Okay, now on to line item H. Possible changes needed in the approved 24-25 calendar.
No, there weren't any.
Nothing. I didn't change anything.
No.
So, okay. Now we're on to 9I, the approval of the E-rate bid for the Minidoka internet service. Cameron, do you want to speak on that at all? Explain that.
Yeah, so every 5 years our internet contract ends, so we need to renew who our internet service provider is. So because it's so much and stuff, we have to go out to bid. E-rate is a program that helps us afford those type of things. So we're pretty rural, but we have a lot of users, so we need some quick internet. And so we go out to bid, and we posted that online. We had one bid. It was PMT. They've been our provider in the past. They actually came today. So that's who we do. We open the bids, we read through the bids, we grade the bids. We did only have one bid, but it was a good bid. So we picked that one, and we're recommending to the board to approve that PMT is going to be our internet provider, and we're going to use the E-rate to fund it. So yeah.
And other companies have the opportunity. We actually put out, request for proposal, the RFP, and that was open for a couple of weeks. And
is there anyone else who can even respond to that bid?
So someone did. So a company responded. There's like rules they have to follow, and this company didn't follow those rules. So they did technically bid, but they're considered a rejected bid because they didn't follow the rules. Yeah, it was like a more generic bid trying to catch all that they send to all kinds of districts. We're asking for pretty specific things. So PMT made their bid specific. So one was a rejected bid. So out of all the valid bids we had, it was PMT. So
what company was that?
Citranet is what it's called. So
how does our data plan on this new bid compare with like last year's? Is it the same, or are we using more data now, or?
So us and PMT made a plan, which if you guys want to speak, I'll let you. But we kind of made a plan before we had to go out to bid and stuff. While they were still our internet provider, we kind of had to pause while we're picking a new provider. But like here we are now. But Yeah, the idea is right now our internet all comes through here and goes out to PMT. They have proposed kind of that we set it up through each school, and now it's going out through each school. So instead of everybody sharing 1 gig, each school has 1 gig, except for here and Minico, that is proposed for 10 gig. So
that's an increase from what you currently have.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we do have a 10 gig, we do have 10 gig, but our hardware and stuff. So our firewall couldn't handle. We can only do 4 gig.
Okay.
So we just have bottlenecks all over the place.
A lot of bottlenecks, but you're changing the bottlenecks, but you're able to get more speed.
Yep. Yep. So yeah.
Is that part of this bid, or is that something you guys are doing?
That's part of the bid, even. Yeah.
So, I've been with PMT for 35 years and with internet. We have done this in other school districts, and what this will do is it allows fiber optics to every school. It allows Cameron and his staff to control what they're doing between schools. So we'll have the 10 gig links to every school, and so without that internet traffic on there, having that 10 gig just for your own usage is going to be very instrumental. It allows you guys to do whatever you need to do. We stay out of it. It doesn't go across any of our network, so it's your own network. You guys will own this network, and it's all fiber optics. So.
Will that help Minico more?
Yeah. It should help everyone.
I was gonna say, poor Minico.
Yeah. Can I get this at my house?
We have fiber optics, but we have endpoints. This will give you active fiber. So this fiber will be dedicated for you guys. We will not have any of our equipment in place. It's all going to be owned by Minidoka School District. So it keeps that traffic unique to you. It allows firewalls on every location, so you'll have security on every location as well.
And as far as like the E-rate, I mean, can you explain briefly how that works?
I will do my best. Because it's state funding, they do their best to make it complicated for IT guys like me. So basically E-rate will pay for like around 80%. It depends on the district. And I believe ours is about 80%. So ideally the way that it works is so E-rate is basically a thing for school districts to help improve their infrastructure but not pay for it, right? So we pay for 20%, they would pay for 80%. The state still does help, so we would take our 20% and try and get that reimbursed from the state, and they do help. So between us, the state, and E-rate is kind of how we end up getting this paid for, and E-rate covers a huge chunk, about 80%.
So what do you think, like, the district's out of pocket's going to be?
Oh, that's a Darrow question as well.
100% at first. E-rate's a reimbursement basis, so we will have to cash flow all of this. But it's
so what's your upfront going to be?
Is this all in a one-time lump payment, or is it monthly?
No, it's monthly. Is that ready? It's monthly, and that's on the form. That's on the
eight. And
yeah.
that includes our infrastructure upgrades.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just sharp that.
Yeah. So, sorry. Yeah, when PMT did it, they tried to make it all, and I believe they succeeded. All E-rate reimbursable, so it's all eligible to be E-rate reimbursable.
So you guys use the E-rate consultant, which we've worked with for other districts and different things, and so we drew up the RFP to be 100% E-rate
eligible.
So we changed some things through the consultant to make that happen, but it is technically it's 100% eligible for reimbursement.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. Okay. Does anybody have any?
So this is a five years? Did you say, or what's the timeline?
So it's 1 year with the option to extend every year for 5 years. That's the way that it works. So then next year we do something the exact same. It's a lot less of a project, but basically we'll go to you guys and say we just want to extend 1 more year with PMT, and then we would do that every year for 4 more years, and then we have to do this process again. So
And the reason why they do that is through the consultant, each
each year, it's easier to get 1 year approval than it is to get 5 because you're asking for so much for more. So they break it up to be it's to do the 5 years, but they break it down by year so that it's eligible or easier to get approval.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, with that, I would accept a motion for the approval of the e-rate bid for the Minidoka Internet Service.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the internet bid e-rate for Minidoka.
Motion by Trustee Kent. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Claridge. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. So we're on to the approval of phase 2 of securing our future grant. Is there any further discussion or questions on that from anybody? Okay, with that, I'd accept a motion for the approval of phase 2 of securing our future grant.
I'll make a motion to approval of phase 2 securing that future grant.
Motion by Trustee Anderson. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Trustee Kent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now we're on to our policies. Carrie, on these, were they all ready to be approved at this time?
Yeah, the bus ones were what the state inspector
Right.
were ready for. And we talked about the employee recognition, retirement recognition, just putting on those, they'll be reviewed annually, and if funds are available, it'll be enforced. Instead of crossing out like all of the money, we just put that they'll be annually reviewed. So if we have money, we can do that again.
Okay.
But the other stuff is all stuff Colleen had to have.
Yeah, we got hit pretty hard.
Yeah, we got nailed.
From the inspector.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's been 5 years. Did we read that right?
Yes.
Yeah, 5 years since we did it.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions on any of the policies? Yes, you have a question? No, maybe?
There's a lot of stuff for the buses, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay, with that, I would accept a motion approving policy 570.00 employee recognition, 570.00 employee recognition procedure, policy 572.00 retirement recognition, policy 800.00 student transportation, policy 801.00 contracting for student services, policy 802.00 bus loading discipline student conduct, policy 802.50 safety busing non-instructional operations, policy 805.00 bus driver training, policy 806.00 activity busing, policy 807.00 evacuation instruction and drills, policy 808.00 bus driver responsibilities, policy 816.00 evaluation of school bus drivers, and policy 844.00 meal charges.
I would make a motion to approve all of the policies as read.
Okay, motion made by Trustee Anderson.
Yes, as read by the chair.
Second.
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Claridge. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and then back to our amended item L, which is
discipline of students.
Yeah. You have that.
I do have that.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the expulsion restriction of student 02-26-24-1 as request, as long as the
No,
father,
as requested.
as requested, as long as the father is present. long as the father is present.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Claridge. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. And with that, I would accept the motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Anderson, second.
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Kent, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
You're gonna call it the thing.
Oh, is that really?
You're nice. You don't scare me like mom did.
Thank you all for hanging with us.
Yep.